This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, and this is my weekly review of the points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer newsletter. The big news of the week is Vince McMahon, according to the Wall Street Journal, is looking to publicly get back more into the WWE. Again, he is the majority owner. So for people that think that he currently has nothing to do with WWE, despite him having the majority voting power in the company and still being the owner, I really don't know how anyone could think that. Apparently, he owns 37.6% of the stock, but has 80% of the voting power. So he still has voting power in the company. So people that say he's out of the company, that just seems silly. But yes, apparently he wants to publicly become part of it again. And as that came out, apparently a lawyer for 1980s WWE referee Rita Charleston is demanding $11.75 million from an alleged sexual assault in the 80s. It's 2022 now, so I'm not sure how far that will get her. Another lawyer sent Vince a demand letter apparently related to 2011 incident, again 11 years ago. So you have to wonder if these are only coming out because people are seeing that other settlements occurred. Meltzer also brings up that someone very close to Vince McMahon or on the board of directors seems likely to be leaking this info, because you'd have to be pretty close to him to know this stuff, and also possibly might not want him more directly in the company and might be leaking this for those reasons. The other story is NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose, who lost the title due to being fired, apparently, was apparently released due to posting very racy content on social media behind a paywall. Apparently, she was making $150,000 US for a WWE contract, but might have been making even more for this sexual content that apparently also involved nude photos of her and her boyfriend in sexual positions. And some say this might be in violation of her Mattel toy contract. Apparently, Matt Bloom of WWE NXT, I think he's the head coach there, informed Shawn Michaels of this, and this has led to her release. So, again, I mentioned this in an individual post. She might be making more on the paywall post right now, but the reason she's known is from WWE. So taking her out of WWE might affect her more in the long run. But it's her choice. She can do whatever she wants. Apparently, Sasha Banks has a huge deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling that might be the biggest per appearance talent deal of all time. Reportedly, it's bigger than Jericho's was. And the biggest deal Meltzer was aware of was Hulk Hogan making $150,000 per match. So apparently they want to boost their women's division. I don't know how much Sasha Banks is worth. That seems like a lot of money for someone WWE hasn't tried that hard to get back. But I really don't know the Japanese market. I know that New Japan is possibly at one of its lowest points of interest in history, if not its lowest. And there's also talk that she could end up in AEW as well with this New Japan contract, or because the New Japan deal is only per appearance, and AEW has a working relationship with New Japan, and there's rumors she could be appearing on the LA New Japan show. Meltzer believes that long term she'll probably go back to WWE. However, she brings up that she's walked out on the company twice, which does show unprofessionalism. WWE is rumored to have suspended Matt Riddle for his second drug test violation, according to bodyslam.net. But Meltzer brings up WWE has not officially addressed the story nor responded to questions about it. And there doesn't appear to have been a 30-day suspension for his first offense. It was reported that the Clash in the Castle match against Seth Rollins was canceled due to a violation, and he didn't wrestle for WWE between July 25th and August 20th. However, that's not 30 days. And also, for weed, it's supposedly just a fine of $2,500 and no suspension. So who knows what's that's all about. Sources close to Riddle have apparently denied the story and are saying he's taking time off due to a divorce. Apparently, Regal, who has left AEW now, will be starting in a vice president role in WWE and not just be going there to help coach his son, as he supposedly told AEW to get out of his contract. Meltzer brings up that because he was in AEW, he probably developed a lot of relationships with AEW talent, which, if his WWE deal has anything to do with talent recruiting, could be an advantage to him. John Cena will be appearing on the December 30th SmackDown in Tampa, where he lives. And there's rumors this could be the start of him working towards Royal Rumble and WrestleMania appearances. Dynamite's Winter is Coming special did a 0.33 rating from Garland, Texas, in front of 4,700 paid fans. It was brought up that the same special from the same arena last year drew 6,400, showing the continuous decline of AEW interest. The 9 Lives of Vince McMahon Vice documentary only did a 0.04 rating. NXT did a very good rating this week, 0.17. Raw did its tie for all-time lowest viewership this past week, 0.37 rating. And apparently it was their lowest ever first hour. Surprise, surprise, Kevin Owens was on the show. Raw was in Milwaukee. 6,100 fans in attendance. Rampage, 0.11 rating. SmackDown did a 0.57 rating from Pittsburgh, which only drew 5,600 fans with Kurt Angle on the show. You have to wonder whether Kurt Angle helped that rating. However, that's a poor attendance for Pittsburgh for a TV taping. Women of Wrestling did a 0.05 rating, better than Vince McMahon's documentary. And yeah, for everyone saying Triple H is such a great booker, lowest rating ever, tie for Raw, not a good sign. In other AEW news, Tony Khan's big Ring of Honor announcement regarding a broadcast deal is for a paid service he's creating for Ring of Honor as Honor Club, where apparently he's going to have a weekly show, or maybe not weekly, but custom content on there. So it wasn't a TV deal as many expected. Ring of Honor's Final Battle pay-per-view had 2,500 fans. Chris Jericho was on that show. Pretty much a lot of the AEW talent were on the show. I mean, Ring of Honor does have some custom talent, but it's the same booker as AEW and mostly the same talent as AEW. And just more titles, which it's almost impossible to keep track of all these Ring of Honor and AEW titles. Not to mention all these WWE titles. It's one of the things that turns me off about wrestling these days is just the ridiculous amount of champions that it is just nearly impossible to keep track of. Apparently, Sting hasn't actually been wrestling lately because he recently had knee surgery about 7 weeks ago. In Japan wrestling news, Cyberfight, the parent company of pro wrestling, Noah, DDT, and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, as well as Ganbare Pro Wrestling, which I never heard of, lost nearly $5 million in 2022. Barry Windham is out of the ICU after a heart attack. Mike Rotundo says he's walking again. In UFC news, they had their 29th straight sellout for UFC 282 in Vegas last week, and the pre-show before the pay-per-view did a 0.3 rating. Dana White told ESPN that he's very concerned about fight fixing and the recent allegations about fixed fights taking place, and he is doing his own internal investigation into fight fixing. John says, hello, buddy. Hello to you. Hello, DY Monstrosity. DJ Monstrosity. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. WWE is hokey. And as I said, I did watch the Kurt Angle stuff from the SmackDown last week, and it was just so ridiculously hokey.